Yu-Gi-Oh! A new card game in 2002 that would quickly take the US by storm thanks to the anime airing at the same time. Aiming to occupy the same market space as games like Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! Quickly laid its claim with the initial release of The Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon and the original starter decks Yugi and Kaiba. While this earliest stage of the game is extremely simple on the surface, the earliest retro format finds its footing here, being named after the starter decks that started it all. I'm the Law YGO, this is Retro Retrospective, and today we're looking back to May of 2002 with Yugi-Kaiba format.
Psst, hey, real quick, did you know that only about 20% of people who watch my content are subscribed? If you like what you see, leave a like, comment, and subscribe below. Thanks, it really does help a lot.
Yugi-Kaiba format is undoubtedly the oldest of the legacy formats for Yu-Gi-Oh! That is regularly supported. Being such an old format, games are standardly dominated by the highest attack point monsters, as effect monsters were extremely uncommon at first, only having a few see relevant play. The format plays under the ban list that came to balance out the original set Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, meaning the most powerful cards of the format were either limited or semi-limited. The 5 pieces of Exodia would be the first of these, all being limited to 1, which primarily is for anime reasons, as Exodia is supposed to be one of the rarest card sets in the anime's universe. The other 5 limited cards are what are referred to commonly as the Power 5, being the most powerful 5 spells in the game at the time, being Raigeki, Dark Hole, Change of Heart, Monster Reborn, and Pot of Greed. Raigeki and Dark Hole being single card board clears are obvious as to why they were limited in such a simplified format. Change of Heart and Monster Reborn are also fairly obvious, as they each provide a massive swing of advantage by being able to steal or revive the most powerful available monster, even being able to tribute over it in Change of Heart's case so it doesn't return to the opponent. The last one, Pot of Greed, may not be as obvious for people coming from other card games, but it's clear to anyone who's played Yu-Gi-Oh! For any period of time. Whereas most games, like Magic and Pokemon, use a mana or energy system as their restricted resource, Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't have any resource system like that, making their restricted resource the cards themselves, so being able to go +1 for free would be unbelievably overpowered if it was accessible more than once in a duel. As for the semi-limits, Card Destruction is one of the only cards in the format that allows the user to draw a significant number of cards, and Sorcerer Revealing Light stalls out for 3 turns, which essentially is like a card reading draw 3 in this particular format. Because of the particular landscape, a few cards in this format would boil to the top of this exceptionally limited card pool as the best options you can play. When talking about the format dominated by vanilla beaters, we must first start with the most iconic of those beaters. Lejin, the mystical genie of the lamp, is undoubtedly the poster child of this format, as it is the most powerful no-tribute normal summon available to anyone at 1800 attack. Because of this, Lejin sees play in almost every deck of the format as the benchmark for decks to beat, as without tribute summoning a monster or finding some way to boost a monster's attack, you won't be able to go over Lejin. In a similar vein, Battleox and Neo the Magic Swordsman fill the niche of second best at 1700 attack, standardly being played in decks focused on normal monster beatdown as auxiliary pieces to Lejin. Giant Soldier of Stone is also worth the mention here as the largest no tribute wall at 2000 defense, which lets it see play in many decks as one of the few defensive options, as it is also the most powerful attack-wise of all the 2000 defense walls in the format at 1300. As for tribute monsters, you can't do much better than Summon Skull, as his 2500 attack for 1 tribute is the best value you can receive for the cost, able to attack over every single monster in the format that doesn't require a tribute. Effect monsters are extremely limited in this format, as the majority of monsters are normal, but a couple do stand out. Maneater Bug is one of the most iconic of these, able to destroy any monster on the field when flipped face up, essentially trading itself 1 for 1 for any monster the opponent controls, such as Summon Skull. Wall of Illusion is also extremely notable here, being 1850 defense, meaning it can't be cleared by attack by any monster summoned without a tribute, and in addition to this will bounce any monster it battles back to the hand, setting the opponent back considerably for attacking it. Lord of D is not particularly notable for its effects, but rather for a specific spell that mentions it. The Flute of Summoning Dragon requires Lord of D to be on the field, at which point it can special summon up to 2 dragon monsters from the user's hand, which was commonly used as a way to cheat out the literal most powerful monster in the format, Blue Eyes White Dragon, which otherwise would have been too cumbersome to summon, requiring 2 tributes and being vulnerable to removal. With the most powerful board wipe spells being limited, more specific removal options are ran in their stead, such as Fissure, which destroys the lowest attack monster the opponent controls, and Trap Hole, which destroys a monster being normal summoned with 1000 or more attack. D-Spell is an odd card to see as it removes spells, which have no reason to be set, but it is extremely useful for specifically removing Swords of Revealing Light before it has finished its full use. Soul Exchange sees common play here as a control tool, allowing the user to summon Skull by tributing the opponent's monster for the cost of attacking that turn, which is such a big swing of advantage that it's usually worth it. Lastly are the Battle Traps, being reinforcements, able to boost the attack of a monster by 500 that turn, allowing monsters to win single battles that it normally would lose, and Waboku, which prevents all battle destruction and damage that turn, essentially blanking a battle phase. With all of these options available, what decks are the big threats to look out for? For the most part, this format boils down to two major themes of play, being either beatdown or stall. Beatdown strategies tend to focus around the usage of Legion, Summon Skull, and auxiliary pieces to attack the opponent repeatedly for gain, with the differences between decks being primarily down to what auxiliary pieces they're using, such as standard vanilla beatdown focused on Battle Ox and Neo, Soul Control, which uses Soul Exchange to remove cards from the opponent's board for Summon Skull in addition to the use of Battle Ox and Neo, Umi Beatdown, which uses a combination of Umi and Great White to match Legion's 1800 attack, and Dragon Turbo, which uses Lord of D, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and the Flute of Summoning Dragon to control games. Stall strategies, on the other hand, are primarily focused around the usage of 2000 defense walls, like Giant Soldier of Stone, Aquamador, and Spirit of the Harp, to stall out games for various win conditions, such as Mill with the use of card destruction, Burn with cards like Ukazi, Final Flame, and Just Desserts, and Exodia with Exodia. Standardly though, the beatdown decks tend to do better than the stall options due to the slow nature of the alternative win conditions and the limited options for them. Here are a couple lists to get you started in this format from the most recent FormatLibrary Yugi-Kaiba tournament, such as Jazz's Soul Control, Angel ZX9's Dragon Turbo, and Mr. Big Noodle's Vanilla Beatdown, which took 1st through 3rd at Retro Series 46. With the dominance of Legion on the format, early Yu-Gi-Oh! Was set to be a beatdown dominated game out the gate, as realistically new cards would have to power creep Legion to be useful, but that's where many would be wrong. The next major legacy format would show that raw attack power would not be everything. Sometimes, a good effect is worth far more than raw stats.